Keep away from Henriksen unless you're tired of living. His enemies are mostly innocent. His dream is for the killing.
Now it begins.
Pumpkinhead. This is the 1988 monster movie that was directed by special effects master Stan Winston. The plot. So there's this guy and his son living out in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, I think, and his son gets into an accident with a group of bikers and friends, and, well, he dies. Spoilers! But this is the whole reason for Ed, his father, to exact vengeance. So, he goes to see the old woman Haggis, who raises an ancient demon, so-called Pumpkinhead. And now the vengeance will be brought upon the teens. Slasher style. I watched this when I was young. I mean, I was like 13 or 14, and I loved it. And watching with my mom recently, she said it's kind of reminded her of Pet Sematary, the 1989 movie. And so then I got to thinking, yeah, it kind of is the same sort of story, but it's still inventive. It's mean-spirited. And I mean mean-spirited. Mostly in the plot and monster itself. The plot has this, underlining motive of the fact that one of the bikers has a past where he is on parole now because of said past, and if he gets in trouble for this kid dying, that's it. That's the end. He goes to prison. Well, he said they're gonna fry him, which I highly doubt that. And in terms of the monster, Pumpkinhead is a ruthless yet insidious monster. He definitely has a knack for pranking people before he kills them. One character in particular, he rips the chains off a bike while the guy's trying to get on the bike to escape. Dude! And then another one, the guy shoots him in the head, he's like, yeah, it's dead. Then he grabs him and impales him with a shotgun. It's just beautiful. And even the movie itself, its tone is very dark and moody. That's not to say the film itself is just moody, it's the atmosphere too. There is tons of fog and creepy Halloween-themed landscapes and pumpkin patches, which really ring true to that fall season feel that I love so dearly. This film didn't do too well at the box office, but it gained a cult following and eventually caught on. I think the film is just wonderful in its attempt to make you creeped out. You got these teens doing no good, and then you have these accidents happen with Pumpkinhead involved, and Haggis is just rocking back in her chair like, I warned you about the vengeance. Damn Haggis. Haggis is an old witch in the woods, and she lives by herself, obviously. Well, I mean, she could have lived with a clan, but, you know, a tribe of witches was not in the budget. Or a coven of witches, I'm sorry for incorrect use of the word coven. Or a pack of witches. Yeah, so Pumpkinhead is brought back, and the fact that this film caught on is not shocking. Because the film really has the element of surprise along with atmosphere up the butt. It's a perfect Halloween time movie. I think this creature is perfect. It's an amalgamation of everything Stan Winston's really worked on. You have the towering presence of the Tyrannosaurus from Jurassic Park. You have also its feet. Its feet are very dinosaur-like, especially in the second movie. You have the tail of the xenomorph and the head, kind of like a xenomorph. Yeah. Cool stuff. Really cool stuff. It's just a beast, and it kills without mercy. Pumpkinhead is a cult icon for good reason. He never got the love he deserved. Pumpkinhead is awesome. And why is he awesome? Because he has a personality. Pumpkinhead enjoys killing. Like I said earlier, he likes to play pranks on his victims, so there you go. The characters in the film as Inhumans include Ed Harley, played by Lance Henriksen from Aliens. Lance Henriksen is the man. I mean, seriously. This guy's filmography is staggering, and every time he goes into a movie, he puts his A game into it. Never does a crappy performance because, you know, there wasn't really much of a budget or dedication to the script. He gives it his all, and this is no exception. This is one of his best performances. He has to have anger, emotion, and just rage. Then there's Tracy, played by Cynthia Bain. She's an okay actress. The teens in the movie, they're not the best actors or actresses, but you gotta work with what you can. Tracy's the caring, sincere, but strong female heroine. She doesn't really try anything to kick butt. She just runs away pretty much. That's all you can really do from Pumpkinhead is just run away. But she does it really well. Chris, played by Jeff East, is kind of just there. He's the one guy who's like surviving the longest, but he doesn't really have any character personalities or characteristics or development. He's just that one city guy who just came along for the ride. He's played by Jeff East, and that's it pretty much. Maggie, played by Carrie Remsen from Ghoulies 2, awesome movie, is the religious one of the group. She really believes in her faith and thinks that if she just keeps on praying, her boyfriend Steve will come back. There's one part, you want to talk about sinister, there's one part where Pumpkinhead draws a cross in her head. That's metal. Joel, played by John D. Aquino, is the rebel bad guy. He's a dude, you know. He's just like, I can drive a motorcycle better than anyone, I can drink more than anyone, I can get drunk better than anyone, but he's got a lot to lose. And halfway through the movie, he's like, you know what, no more of this, I have to live a steady life. Kim, played by the late Kimberly Ross, was kind of just there. A lot of these teens have no backstory or personality or characteristics besides, I think, maybe, I don't know, not many. There's Maggie, and and Tracy has the traits, but that's about it. We also have Steve, played by Joel Hoffman. Now, this guy, his voice, I told him it was an accident. He's got one of those voices, and he just looked at me. I'm like, no duh, he's gonna look at you like, what the hell are you saying? You sound like an idiot. Mr. Wallace, played by Buck Flower from a ton of movies. Everything from They Live to The Wishmaster to just crazy amount of movies. He did a lot before he gave up and died. Before he passed. And there's plenty of more characters, but, you know, you got what you got. I enjoyed the characters even with their subpar acting. They could have been done so much better, but, you know, the gore, the effects, there's some blood, clawing, and impaling. It's pretty tame. There are some inventive kills, but, you know, this film just doesn't pack a bloody punch. There's a part where a girl gets shoved through a glass window and the glass cuts into her, and there's blood that pours down in the sink below. It's a messy scene, but that's really the bloodiest it gets. They didn't put a lot into the gore, but the effects on the monster are just outstanding. I think Stan Winston Studios did a fantastic job on this monster. They really gave it their all, and Stan Winston, he probably was very proud. Pumpkinhead and his ever-changing design. I mean, like, this character, he starts turning into the summoner, and That's just crazy. Like, by the end of the movie, he's got Ed Harley's face. That's really cool. The fact that they built more than one suit just to accomplish that, wow. It might have been just more than one head, but still, props. They didn't have to do it, but they did. The motion picture soundtrack, I have the CD, which has music by Richard Stone. This could easily be overlooked as just a generic soundtrack with nothing really too memorable if you don't really listen to it. There's a lot of emotions in this soundtrack. Are not only some great country twains, like not lyrical but instrumental, but there's some heartfelt stuff in here. The song Father and the Son, Mr. Harley's Remorse, it's got a lot of emotion in this soundtrack, and I absolutely adore it. Now, before we wrap this up, let's get into some sweet facts with Telltale Treats. So here are some facts for you. Pumpkinhead was portrayed by Tom Woodruff Jr., who did special effects work on its 2017 Tremors 1-4, Starship Troopers, Unnatural, the Polar Bear movie, which is criminally underrated. And he also worked with Stan Winston Studios. He was Gillman in the Monster Squad. He's played a xenomorph in several of the Alien movies, and has a ton of uncredited Monster Suits roles. Gypsy, the dog in the movie named Mushroom, was also Barney in Gremlins, which is actually really cool. She only did Gremlins in this, I think. But still, cool. And this answers my question from earlier. I forgot about it. Stan Winston was so busy with directing Pumpkinhead that one of his few directorial films that he didn't supervise much of the design of the titular creature. He left that up to his protégés. The punk band, the Misfits, dedicated a song to the title character, and it rocks, man. I love that song. So far, there are 3 sequels in the Pumpkinhead franchise, which I will be continuing next in my next 3 reviews. So what are my overall thoughts on this movie? It's a decent horror movie with above average effects and atmosphere. It's got that dry, dusty feeling to it, but if you butter up some popcorn, have a nice drink. It'll be cool to watch during the Halloween season. I highly recommend it. Overall, I give Pumpkinhead a 3 out of 5. Thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, the horror show host. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon, where even $1 a month will help keep this channel going on strong, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Plus, you'll get access to body counts and other music videos that you can't get on YouTube because of copyright and age restriction. Also, hit that notification bell, and as always, so